Hello everyone, be welcome to another live here for Metal com Batata. And as usual, we always have a great name of the metal world here and here, man. For sure, we are trying to book this live for a long time, but that's okay. It's working. I'm talking about Erik from Intoxicated. We have a lot of things to talk. We have typed a little bit on WhatsApp before, and it was very cool because based on this conversation, I got more questions and know about everything about the band itself, about the scene, about everything that he has faced around through the years playing the metal. Erik, thank you very much for accepting to talk to us. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh man, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Cool. We have typed a little bit already, but of course we don't need to follow the timeline. We can come and back in the time, so feel free to jump through years and everything that your memory allows you to talk about and you remember, right? But let's talk about Intoxicated, man. As far as I got, the band it's from the early 90s, right? 92, 93, right?
Correct.
And you have your first record, Metal Neck, in 97.
So there was a lot more actually. So I probably started it in like 92, and then but really had a good lineup by like 93. And then we did four EPs we did 94, 95, 96 and 97.
Cool.
So
yeah, because what I found that the first one was Metal Neck around the internet, based on my search and everything, and but you have EPs because I read that you some demos.
Yes. Yeah,
but you have more.
That's what they were. You know, they were recorded in a studio. We were recording the tape back then, but yeah, we did one. The drinking age back then. I mean, the drinking. You know, if you blow, you know, now it's 1.0, but it used to be 0.08, and that's what the first demo was called. And then we had one called Scars, and then we did our third one. We did actually with Chuck from Death at his house, and that was called Drain, and we did that maybe 95 or 6, and then Metal Neck was in 97.
Cool. Yeah, because you talk about Chuck, and I have a few questions about other bands. And the main point that we must remember that in that time it was this we can classify Intoxicated as coming in the second wave of the Florida death metal.
Sure.
Right. A lot of bands like Death, Morbid Angel, Obituary. You know, huge influence in. For example, I live in Poland, but I'm Brazilian, you know, and we have a huge influence of all Florida death metal stuff, you know, the legend of the studio, the Morris Sound studio, and everything. My question is, once we are talking about this time, what are your memories? Do you have something before Intoxicated, or you have as your first band? How was that time for you?
That Intoxicated was my first band, and but yeah, I started late playing guitar. I didn't start when I was young, but the scene, man, you know, was so cool back then in the early 90s, you know, and we would see some of our favorite bands, you know, for $5 or $3, you know, at a keg party in warehouses, you know, and that's how and man, and the scene was strong in the 90s. It would be nothing like at local shows to have 400 kids, you know, show up, just local shows. The scene was very, very, very strong. And the second wave, you're exactly right. We were part of that second wave. And there were quite a few bands, just because, man, everybody was so cool and very nice. But there was this underlying, you know, we just all knew that if you were going to play out, man, you better fucking bring it. You know what I mean? Because there was so much talent around, you know. We had, so Ken Andrews, who plays in Obituary now, and Bobby Coble, who played all those shredding leads on Death's Symbolic record.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they all grew up in the same area here, you and they had a band called Azrael when they were like 17. And man, back then, even listening to their old demos now, it makes me want to throw my guitar in the trash can. They were so fucking good, just ripping. So, like I said, we had a lot of good players around, and everybody was pushing it. It was good. Bless.
If you stop and try to figure out in your times when that memories that you brought to us here, could you figure out that it would be some rude stuff, for example, bands as Death, Morbid Angel, and so on, that could influence a lot of other bands? Because, for example, if you go around in any death metal band, for sure they're gonna say, for example, Death, Morbid Angel. In that time, could you figure out that would be so rude as is today? For example, the influence that bands would bring, that will influence other bands nowadays.
I mean, did we see it then?
Yeah. If in that time you could see in the future, okay, we have Morbid Angel, we have Chuck in Death. They could be this rude influence that they are still today.
Yeah, I mean, to me, as far as Death goes, none of that is shocking. It was just so good then, I mean, there was nothing that was going to change that. But then also, as much as I loved Death, and as much as I loved, it was technical and it was very thoughtful. But then you also had Obituary that was very simplistic. But man, there's something to be said about the patience that they have in those riffs, man. And to be able to, I still like even the new record we put out, 10 songs, less than 30 minutes. I don't necessarily have that patience, but I respect it and I like it. So yeah. To answer your question specifically, bands like that, no, it's no surprise to me that they have carried that legacy. I mean, you saw it back then. There was just something special.
Cool. Amazing. And Intoxicated, in that time, you had, of course, you were younger, and you had a point of view about composition. What made you feel, okay, it's my time to create my band, to write my songs, to put my work out?
Well, another part, without going way back, another part of Intoxicated was, and it was part of the reason I started late playing. It was when I was a child, man. I was very fucked up home life, and I ended up, after about the age of 12, up until I became an adult, up until I was 18, I was locked up in institutions more than I was free, and so I missed out on so much, man. And then when I got out, to be honest, I was kind of fucked up, man. I wasn't used to being in very normal settings, and it caused a lot of trouble, a lot of problems. And I had, I met, my friends were very much like the same way, but that being said, when we turned to each other and got involved in music and playing music, for me, and I've said this a ton of times, to me, I think it saved my life, man. And so there was a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of, I knew I wasn't that good of a player, but I was like, man, I may not be better than this guy, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to be, I'll never be the last guy to learn something, and I think for a few of us in the very original lineup for Intoxicated, I think it saved our fucking lives, man. And so we protected it, and we spent so much time together and just pushing each other, and that's what everyone was doing, during that time, was recording. And so we just wanted to really be a part of that. And it's intimidating, especially when you're first starting to write. But like I said, we kept progressing, and I don't know, it's just, it was and still is it's one of my favorite things to do.
I mean, do you believe that make music, being a band, it was like a escape from from the, let's say, the period that you were before, to focus on your creativity, your other stuff, to renew you?
100%, without a
Oh,
doubt. You
amazing.
know, and
This,
even though we were dysfunctional, you know, as a group, because we were all fucked up, but even though we were dysfunctional, we relied on one another, and it was nice to have people that relied on you, you know, because you didn't want to disappoint them, you know. And we were all starting out with not much experience, but we were surrounded and wanted to be involved, you know. So we fucking worked, man, you know, and it kept us out of trouble, and you know, kept us learning.
you know, I love listening to this kind of story because it shows the power of music. You know,
Absolutely.
superation and everything. That okay, music helped me to face a moment in my life that was hard and so on. And I love to listen to this kind of story, man, because you know, in my head, at least in Brazil when I was living there, we don't have music in the school,
Yeah.
you know. So it's fucking boring, you know. Everybody knows the power of music to help you out intellectually speaking, you know, and all this stuff, and they don't have music in schools.
Yeah. um I could not agree with you more. We could talk about school for hours. I fucking think school is a waste of time.
Well, nowadays I was talking to my wife a few days ago, and I talked to her, and I brought an example, and she said, "You're right."
I mean, of course, you need to, you know, we all need to understand how to communicate and be able to write and read and do some basic math. But unless you're going to be a, you know, an engineer or something, man, you know, I say you should be going to school for no more than 2 to 3 hours, you know, maybe 3 times a week, and then live your fucking life, you know, and learn how to do something, learn how to be something. Because if you got kids that are going to school from the time they're 5 or 6 or whatever till the time they're 17, that many hours a day, we should have a world full of geniuses, and we have a world full of fucking dipshits, and it's a waste of time, man. And it's getting people ready to be not creative. It's getting people ready to go work some shitty job, you know. And I figured out at a young age, man. I'm sorry if this is not a great metaphor, but I learned when I was like 12 that you could buy an ounce of weed, you know, and you could sell 3 bags of that weed, and those people would be very happy. It was very fair. And then you got 1 bag for free for yourself, and everyone was happy. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I can live most of my life this way. I don't have to just, I mean that more of as a metaphor, you know, but I mean, you know, while I respect people that grind every day, you know, it's just, to me, there's an alternative choice. There's another way, you know, where I call fucking freedom, you know.
True, true. No, and this engineer example that you brought is the same one that I said to my wife. It's the same one, you know. But I brought another math example, but basically it was the same. It was the same. But great, man. Great. I totally agree with you. I totally agree. Totally, totally agree. Well, coming back to Intoxicated, you broke up in the late 90s.
Yes, we didn't. We never broke up. But yes, I'll explain.
Yeah, please.
So my writing partner in Intoxicated, right around in 1998, he moved away. He moved far away, and it was confusing times, because he at the time was our singer and the other guitar player, and we wrote all the music together. So I was like, man, you know, I want to keep this going, but it was challenging mentally, you know, just like how are we going to do this, you know? But right about that time, so Donald Tardy from Obituary had been on hiatus. You know, they hadn't played for 5 or 6 years, you know, and he was Intoxicated's drummer at the time. And he said, hey man, I got an opportunity, and in about 9 months from now, I'm going to be leaving. I'm going to be touring the world with this dude, you know, this guy that plays rock music. And so he was very honest with us, but, you know, we were still, you know, writing songs with him. And I started trying just the very beginning stages of me singing, you know. But then Donald called me and said, listen, man, you know, the guy I'm going to be playing with asked me what I was doing musically. And I told him I was playing with you guys. And he asked if you guys would like to join this project. And so this was something that had just been signed to Def Jam. It was one of the last like big deals, record deals, you know, in the 90s, the late 90s. And so man, without question, you know, we were like, hell yeah, we'll join, you know. And so me and our bass player lived together. We moved out of there like within 2 days of getting that information, and we all moved to Tampa and slept on Donald's floor. We moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, and it was the only time in my life this ever happened. But we were on a retainer for like 8 or 9 months before we even met the dude, you know, that we were going to be playing for. And so we bought like a half a pound of weed and then just jammed every day and learned that guy's songs and played Intoxicated. And we did that till we ended up meeting him. I believe it was the second time I met him, but it was the second time I met this guy, Andrew, was in California doing a music video with like a $300,000 budget, you know. So it was fucking crazy, you know. Me and my buddy, we had been stealing power. Like that's how fucked up. Like we were fucked, you know. So yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity. So to not be so long-winded, but that's sort of what happened to Intoxicated, because the first year we started touring with Andrew, we were only home 12 days, man.
Oh.
Yeah, just touring the whole entire world. And then the next year, I believe we were only home maybe about 19 days. We toured for 2 years almost straight. And then I stayed with, I'm still a member of that band today. You know, I've been a part of that live project since 1999. But around 2000 is when things really slowed down. And I was like, man, you know, I want to revisit Intoxicated, you know, and that's how that came about. It never was, we never quit. And when we'd be home, a couple of guys that we knew or a couple of guys that had been involved, we would get together and we would jam, but never anything of real substance until it was time, you know, and that was around 2019.
Okay, 2019. Cool. Yeah, because we have according to my search, we have Wallet in 2020 that according to the release that says the coming back of the band. For this reason, I asked if it was a broke or not, and if have broken up or not. But in 2020, you come back with Wallet.
Walled, yes. Yeah, it was like I said when we, you know, I put the band you know, back together, and of course with a few newer guys, but yeah, and we just started writing songs, you know, and it was coming together. So we're like, fuck, man, let's record, and then we just never stopped writing, you know, and so I'm so happy that that's what we're doing.
Cool. Yeah, and for example, from the first, let's say, from the first era of Intoxicated to the second time, let's call, how was the different approach of the composition? It was you and another partner for this new era. And how was the composition approach?
It was very different. Like I said, me and the original guitar player, other guitar player and singer of Intoxicated, we used to write everything together, you know, and he was much better player than I was. He was phenomenal. So this fell a lot on me because when we started back up in 2019 or whatever, it was just a 3-piece. And our bass player, who was the very last player in Intoxicated in the late 90s, and he also joined Andrew WK with me and Donald. But he was the bass player, but he had never written a song in his life. So it was just me and the drummer putting these songs together, you know. And then as well, trying to make songs sound interesting, and not too robotic, but having to also, learn to sing and play, and I was always able to do it as far as backup vocals pretty easily, but I had never done it, as far as doing, main vocals, and trying not to make them sound too robotic or like a nursery rhyme, make them sound interesting.
So Wallet it was your first the first recording with you on vocals.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Because yes, before it was the guy that left and went far away.
Yes.
And because for example, what I see here that you have, for example, we have Wallet, and after that we have What You Burn.
Correct.
That is a true album, because Wallet it's an EP, if I'm not wrong.
Wall was an EP, yeah, and there is a little bit of information that's a little bit wrong, because even Metal Neck was not a full length record. Our very first full length record ever was What You Burn.
Cool. And What You Burn brings many people from the Florida scene, right? The production. How was once you said that What You Burn is the real first record from the band, how was the production, the studio, how you got the guys to, okay, let's work, let's make it happens?
So this was great, man. So in early 2000s, I spent like 4 months in New York with Andrew, working on this record with him, and that's where I met this guy. Ryan Bush is his name, and he was the engineer on that record for Andrew. Well, we ended up staying friends, and he was from California, and but he ended up moving probably about around 2018, 2019. He moved down to Tampa. Mm-hmm. He rented the old Morbid Angel building.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, it was really fucking cool, man. So he showed it to me, and when we walked in, it was like a time capsule. It still had like unfinished prototype bases of Dave's. There was still a big like dry eraser board, with a bunch of Morbid Angel songs, on it. Just amazing. It looked like they had just left, but they left in the 90s. Dave had married Jen from this band called the Jenner Tortures, and when they got divorced, she got the building, So anyway, long story short, I went in there with him and I spent 4 months, and we gutted that place and completely rebuilt it to make his studio. And so what I did was I traded my time for recording.
Great.
So now it's the barter system is what we call it, and but now my next few records are still taken care of. We completely redid it.
Cool. Because I see that What You Burn brings different names of the scene. How do you get the guys beside the studio? Because it was Morbid Angel rehearsal place.
Yes.
So you create the studio, you rebuild everything with your partner and create the studio, and to collect the guys to record What You Burn.
Oh, the band was the band. That's it was the same 3-piece band, but we added another guitar player who I've known for many, like 3 decades, and it was important to add that. It just thickened everything up, and also with me singing and playing it added more dynamic. We needed 2 guitar players for sure.
For sure.
And but yeah, it was the same lineup from Walled. We just added 1 guy.
Yeah, cool. And so to have Andrew, have the Tony from Municipal Waste, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he came in and just did 1 song with us. Yeah, he's just a friend of mine, man. We go we go camping and shit, and eat mushrooms. Yeah, he's a good dude, and he's funny, and so I was like, man, come in and sing some of this song with us, and he did.
Great, great. So, What You Burn, it was in 2022.
Yes.
And beside that, before we move on with the questions, for every single one who's watching us now, or maybe later, because the videos was gonna be here in the YouTube. So if you want to know more about Intoxicated, guys, right here in the description of this video, you have the link to his YouTube channel. So we can invite everybody to subscribe to my channel as well as to Intoxicated YouTube channel. So all the videos, and something that I want to ask about the videos, because I see that many of them were recorded in the same rehearsal room, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's self-production, dependent production. How do you do this stuff?
100% self. Yeah, it's just because we don't have, we don't have a ton of money, but we have a ton of drive, and cool. While I don't believe in doing anything, I hate that term like lo-fi. I don't like that term or whatever. It's not what we're trying to do. We just don't have a ton of money. And we're not polished people. We're not a polished band. And, but we are, we're swinging for the fences. We're fucking going for it. But we can only do what we can do, And so I think it's important to have, those music videos for people to see. And, we don't try to go crazy. We're not trying to hide the fact that it's our rehearsal room, We're still trying to make it interesting. My buddy who edits with me, he's done every one of our videos. I love working with the same people. And we grow together, Same with Ryan at the studio, It's like he's a much bigger like rock guy as far as recording, but we've been growing together, and up until this new record, it's like we're getting there. It's starting to sound really good, And same with video production, we're not using any professional guy to edit this. It's a buddy of mine who's just a really good skateboarder, who just has a good eye. He's creative, and so I think the videos turn out cool. They're edited well. But yeah, we're just doing the best we can.
Great. The main point is to show the band how the main point, as what I can see, is like playing live. How is the band live? Microphones, jumping. This is very, very cool, very cool. And something that's keeping the idea of the recording. In 2022, so you released What You Burn, and this year, 2026, the Dumb, right?
Yes.
Is the new record. So What You Burn, your first album singing and the whole production, and now you have your new album. How is the evolution of the composition? How do you feel singing nowadays? How is this moment for you raising this new album?
It's getting easier, but it's still hard, man. I have to, because again, when I'm writing lyrics, there's certain things that I just know I can't do, singing and playing wise. But that being said, I don't go light on myself. I try to make it sound interesting. I try to make it sound out of, such a robotic, thing. And truth be told, man, I have to go back after it's written, and in this case with the Dome, after it was recorded even, and go back and learn how to play it and sing it.
Cool. What I found out that the lyrics, they are more anti-elite, anti-power structures, social frustration, dark, aggressive imagery. What do you have in mind when you write the lyrics for the songs?
Well, generally I'll sit down with an idea, but not 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, it never ends up about that, It just sort of evolves. And yeah, it is. There's definite frustration with society. It's nothing new. It's the way it's been for years, But it's my view on the world, and I try to write things that have a lot of double meanings as well, even down to the dome. The dome is is slang in America for like your head, like your dome, but also, it could be what we live in, I don't know, but So that's a whole other subject. But to me, I think it's fun to play with things and make them thought provoking, you know. And it's funny because I have a couple of friends, and when my mother was living, you know, she would like to like pull the album lyrics out and look at it, and she would call me and be like, "Hey, is this song about me?" You know, or or I'll have friends ask me that, and I'll be like, "No, it's not." But that, you know, that means to me that I'm doing an okay job. You know, like it's thought provoking.
Well, I make instrumental music. My mom never called me, "Hey, this song's about me." But it's good, good one. Still talking about Intoxicated. Plans for the future. What you have in mind? Tours. What we can expect from Intoxicated in the upcoming months, or until the end of this year, maybe for next years as well.
Well, we just put the record out on March 27th, and we started releasing singles for the record in December. So we did a tour with Obituary in December, and then we just got off of another tour with Obituary last month.
Cool.
And
plans for Europe?
Well, we do have plans for Europe. I can't say what they are yet. It hasn't been announced, but it looks like we're going to be going to Europe at the end of this year for Intoxicated's first time.
Cool. If you come to Poland, my man, we must meet each other.
I come there quite often anyway. You know, maybe 4 times in the last 2 years or so with Obituary.
Cool. Yes, we have some questions not related to Intoxicated, but related about you yourself, right? And the first one, let's talk about Obituary, your relationship with Obituary, besides just playing with the drummer. You said that you were tech.
Yes, yeah. I'm the guitar tech. Well, way more than guitar tech, but yeah, we've all known each other for over 3 decades. You know, the very first time I teched for Obituary was 30 years ago at Milwaukee Metal Fest, and we're getting ready to go again next month together.
Amazing.
So so yeah, we've all been friends for a long time, and Ken Andrews, who's now the guitar player at Obituary, you know, we've been friends for even longer. And to backtrack a little bit, like I said, everyone was really fucked up in the very beginning of Intoxicated. So Ken, he was on every demo, whether he was playing bass or recording guitar, because someone was always going to jail. And he also was my guitar tech for Andrew WK.
Cool.
So it's all tied together, you know. But the one thing I can say about those guys, it's the only band that I would guitar tech for, you know. Just because if I'm gonna spend that much time away from home, I'm gonna do it with my own band. But there's something special about that group of guys, man. Donald and John are brothers, obviously. And I can't say enough about what a class act those guys are. And I've lived long enough, man, to know that if you're lucky enough to be surrounded by people who genuinely want the best for you, you know?
Oh, great.
And you genuinely want the best for them, I hold on to that for dear life, you know? And I've never minded working hard. And to me, it's very easy, and to want to be helpful, to be thoughtful, you know, amongst these men. And I want to see them take over the fucking world, you know, and to be a part of that. So it's, to me, it's nothing but, it's an honor and a pleasure, you know, and then separately, we're all fantastic friends, you know.
Amazing. Very cool. No, great. When you are surrounded with great guys, not just great musicians, but great people as well, it's the best environment. It's the best environment for sure.
Oh man, and I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, on the road, 6 out of 7 nights, we're crying laughing, you know? And that's special, man. You know, that's
True.
A good quality of life, you know? To be out there and doing something that's cool, doing something that's also, I mean, until you've toured, you just wouldn't know. Of course, it's you know, there's a lot of cool parts, but it's work, you know, and there's a lot of fucking, you know, a lot of traveling, but when you can do it and do it with people with integrity and laugh as much as we do, like I said, it's something I protect, you know.
Amazing. I have one question, right? I have more two questions, but one question that, and you said in the beginning that you had this relation with Chuck. Beside Death, beside the band, what memories do you have about Chuck?
Well, Chuck, there's a lot of things. So Chuck was very funny. Also, Chuck was brewing beer before anybody that I knew was, way back in the 90s, you know, and Chuck also really liked plants, which so did I. So that was something we talked a lot about. Had nothing to do with music, you know. Yeah, he was a good host, and it's something that I like to do as well. You know, it's like to have people over and show them a good time, and you know, and Chuck would do that a lot. And there would be a lot that wasn't surrounded. Of course, everything was all tied to music because, you know, all of us that would hang out, we all were musicians, but you know, it was just genuine friendship and you know, a lot of laughing.
Amazing. I mean, the best memory for sure.
For sure. And even when recording with him, like, so he had just gotten, we recorded that on an 8-track at his house, and we were the first ones that he recorded. That ended up being what he called Black Diamond Studios. And like I said, we were the first ones to do it with him, and I believe there was only 2, you know, that he actually recorded.
Cool. Well, we talk that Intoxicated can be classified in this that came in the second wave of the Florida death metal. So we have the first, we have the second. Nowadays, how do you see the Florida death metal scene and the bands around in the style? How do you see the scene nowadays?
Well, I want to start by saying this, and I might sound like a fucking dick, but it's the truth. If you're from Pittsburgh and you move to Florida, you're not fucking Florida death metal. You know what I mean? So let's just get that straight right away. But now that being said, there are a lot of young bands that are from here and that are. It's crazy for how young they are, how much they know about old school metal, you know, and talent too, man. There's a lot of young, very talented, very advanced musicianship. Our new drummer that we have now, he's only 24.
Cool.
And while he does, you know, I mean, he's young, but I mean, his knowledge of and the history of music is mind blowing. So it's impressive.
Amazing. So do you see the quality is still a great quality?
In my opinion, yes. I mean, there's some good, there's some bad, just like always. You know, but what I love seeing is, as you know, because now we're in uncharted territories. Bands like Possessed, bands like you know, Morbid Angel, Obituary. You know, now these guys who kind of started it, now they're getting older. You know, we've never had people that are in death metal that are, you know, this old. But dude, they're fucking shredding, and it's so amazing to see people at shows that are, you know, they might be 60, and then, you know, they might even have their grandkid there with them, you know? And that's what's so cool, is to see, you know, we did a lot of tours, you know, using Obituary as an example, we did a lot of tours where, like, here's an example of, like, with Amon Amarth, you know? And Obituary was Support. So a lot of people knew the name, you know, or had seen the logo, but didn't know the band. They just think, oh, fucking death metal, you know? But then it's so beautiful, man, to look out at that crowd and then to see some 10-year-old kid, and he can't fucking deny the groove, man, you know, and just, you can tell it's his first show, you know, but he's, you know, uncontrollable, you know, movement and feeling it, you know, it's the best.
Oh man, this is fucking amazing. I love to see, because as you said, this is the first time that it happens, because it began in the late 80s, so now people getting older in 40s, for the bands are 40s, you know,
Yeah.
40 plus, and of course the guys, for example, they are 50 plus, 60 plus sometimes. So it's the first time that the original bands of the style are getting older.
Yeah.
And now we have the grandchildren and other guys, sons, daughter, everybody comes to the show.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting point to bring out, that this is the first time that it happens. Because
Well,
of course,
and sometimes on the other side, sometimes I'll see very young kids at shows, and I want to go tell them, like, because there'll be some shit band on, you know, and I want to go tell those kids, hey, this isn't fucking it, you know, like, I don't know, it's the way it's always been, man. There's, you know, some bands are really good and get it, and some bands aren't so good, you know.
yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Erik, I'd like to say once again, thank you very much for your time to talk to Metal com Batata. It was a pleasure to have you here. Very cool story, very great guy. Thank you very much. I'll leave here the link below of the YouTube channel, as well as I will update with the website, so people can be around and check the news on the website, right? The merchan, the photos, and so on, the upcoming tours. And then the last words for the audience.
We, like I said, we just put the record out the dome. We just got home, so I don't know what our exact next plans are, you know, but we will be going to Europe at the end of this year, and we'll keep everyone posted. Amazing.
So people as well can have access to the Instagram and Facebook and so on, so it's not hard to find out about Intoxicated upcoming steps.
Yeah, it's it's a one-stop shop where you can find everything, and that's INTOXICATEDFL, because of Florida.com, and then everything is on there.
Lovely. It will be here in the description of the video. I'm going to update to the website link here below.
Awesome.
For every single one who's watching us, so remember to follow Intoxicated to know everything about the band itself. For every single one who's watching us now, thank you very much. The video will be here. If you're going to watch it right now, live or later, remember to subscribe to the channel, and of course follow Intoxicated as well. It was a pleasure, my man, once again, and for every single one, see you in the next video.
Thank you very much, brother.